Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Brosnan. I'm one of the careers consultants here at RGU. You're joining us for one of our In Conversation with interviews, where we're talking to different people to support students to get insight into how they can develop their employability and ultimately achieve their career ambitions. These sessions have been organised by the Centre for Employability, which is part of Student Life. And for this session, I'm joined by Kayleigh Jarrett. So, Kayleigh, do you want to just give a wee insight into what you're studying, what year you're in, and just a little intro?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kayleigh. I'm in my final year of applied sport and exercise science, which has been really good. It's been very busy as well. And kind of after that, I'm kind of hoping to maybe go into a master's, which I didn't think was possible, but apparently I might be able to do that. So that's exciting. So I'm going to go into that. And it might be in research or sports therapy. I haven't decided yet.
Okay, great. And so and I think we know this from having spoken before, but you're a mature student and you've come to university, but you're obviously entering a different profession. So how do you feel about kind of re-entering the job market after graduation and what you thought around what you're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite excited because obviously, like, I've had a career before this, and that was fine, but I wanted to kind of go back to studying and actually go into something that I'd really enjoy because you work for a lot of your time. So just wanted to go into sports because that's what I love. So I'm excited by it. I'm a bit nervous, because like you don't always kind of get the job that you want first time round. Sometimes you have to do some other jobs before you get there, but it's all part of gaining experience and kind of part of a journey to get into where you want to be. There's going to be competition as well because a lot of people are doing sports science these days, and there's a lot of younger people than me that have got a lot more experience, but it's fine. Like I'm not too phased. We'll get into it and it'll be okay. So yeah.
You kind of maybe alluded to some challenges there. That was going to be our next question around kind of
Sorry.
thinking about, no, no, don't be
Yeah.
silly around the challenges that you might face. And so, what do you think those are? And maybe how have you done your best to kind of proactively make sure that you kind of are setting yourself up for success?
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of more proactively. I mean, obviously, I've been kind of working with kind of like yourself pretty much since I kind of got into third year because we had the placement module. So I've just been kind of exploring kind of like how to get to where I want to be. So ideally, I want to be like a lecturer at some point. So just kind of exploring what qualifications do I need for that? What experience do I need? In terms of even just like skills, like leadership skills, that sort of thing. Um, so to be honest, I think it'll just be more kind of getting the experience will be like the main challenges, probably industry experience as well. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the main things I'm thinking of. Sorry, I forgot the rest of the question.
No, that's okay. So do you think it's been quite important to have to help to get focused on that kind of career ambition around what you're aiming towards? Has that helped you think then about how you structure these last few years at university?
Yeah, I think so, because I think it's quite easy with the busyness of university to kind of get lost in all like your modules and trying to get work done. Um, so yeah, I think it's been good just to speak with people to kind of keep you on track and try and focus on kind of attaining the skills that you might need for that. We've been quite lucky this year that we've had a applied professional development kind of module, and that's kind of made us look at what skills we do have, what we need to work on, to kind of attain the job that we really want to do. And it just kind of makes you think about maybe like extra CPD things you can be doing. So like our course is kind of offered um like a sort of lab kind of experience type thing, like learn how to do some of the lab tests. And I'm like, yep, I want to do that because it's really important and it's good to add on to the CV and whatnot. So yeah.
So I think there's a couple of themes coming out maybe of what you're saying there. I suppose that professional development modules maybe help you tune into what you want to do and look at a bit of a gap analysis. What I would
Yeah.
say for students that maybe are sitting listening to this that thinking, I don't know what I want to do, I have no idea. To access the career service to have that conversation, we can support that. And there's also a lot of resources on the eHub that students can visit. And we're going to leave some links at the end of this session for students to kind of have a think. Um, The other theme that I think that was coming out there was just how kind of motivated you are to kind of keep moving forward and embracing opportunities. Do you think that's been really important to help you build your skill set?
Yeah, I think so. Because, like I say, I think it's going to be quite competitive when you get out there. I mean, the lecturers stress that to us a lot anyway. You know, you've got X amount of students across the country coming out with a sports science degree. So I think if you can add anything to your CV, then that's great. I mean, this year I took on a committee role with my local running club as a captain because I wanted to do it, but also because I thought this is a great thing to have to kind of develop some of the skills that I'd maybe need for lecturing, things like kind of like communication and leadership and maybe leading some sort of like projects, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's really important just to build up your CV and just to kind of help you stand out a little bit. But also when you go into interviews, employers are going to ask for experience-based sort of, we're going to ask experience-based questions. So if you've got that experience, it's going to make your life so much easier when you get out there.
Yeah, great. So kind of embracing those wider opportunities. Obviously, the study, the academics is really
Yeah.
important, but kind of also being aware of how you develop those transferable skills and or soft skills. Although I think that underestimates the importance of them when you call them soft skills.
Mhm.
But I think yeah, those communication teamwork, that's really great. And what's your strategy that you're kind of beginning to build on as you're thinking about reaching graduation and then starting your kind of job
Oh,
hunt?
that's scary, isn't it? Want to stay at uni forever. It's just well, I'm obviously I'm gonna need to get my CV kind of up to date, so we'll be coming to you about that as well.
Of course.
So just getting the CV up to date, looking at job roles as well, you know, kind of understanding what employers are wanting from you if you're going to apply for that sort of role, but also looking at other jobs that might not be the end goal, but you would enjoy. And you would still be able to build up skills. So obviously I've mentioned I want to be a lecturer at the end game, but you know, if I go into employment, I've looked at things like a health and fitness coordinator for kind of like local sporting organisations like Glasgow Life, that sort of thing. And I'm kind of just looking at how I can tie my skills from my previous career and what I've learned from in kind of like my degree to kind of get jobs that would be good for the meantime until I can kind of get into what I'd like to. And obviously once you get there, just kind of thinking about how are you going to answer questions like why do you want this job, or you know, like experience led sort of things. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy. Apply for some stuff, look at the job roles, get the CV ready, get some good answers together,
Yeah.
and just
No,
kind of
there's
see where it takes me.
some great themes there, Kayleigh. I think having the awareness that, yeah, it's absolutely fundamental that you understand what the employers are looking for. And that'll vary from job to job. And that's where research, comes in. And I know you've started that process of doing a lot of research. But I also think I really admire your approach in terms of thinking about that stepping stones as well. That yes, you've got this end goal, but you recognize there might be different routes to get there. And that you might not get your ideal job initially. You might as a student, and that's great. But
That'd be amazing.
if that isn't the path, if it isn't possible to get your kind of dream job, what are the steps that help you build those skills or build those appropriate experience that then will allow you to kind of secure that? And I think that's good, solid advice, absolutely to take on. And what do you think employers are really looking for a value from recent graduates? What qualities are coming out for you? This will obviously be relevant to your profession, but what's coming up
Yeah.
for you?
I feel like obviously communication's a big one. I feel like everyone talks about communication, but actually being able to communicate well, whether that's kind of verbally or written, that sort of thing. I think for graduates particularly is like the critical thinking and the problem solving elements, your teamwork, and just actually being able to work really, really hard, which is things that you naturally have to do anyway when you're studying, to kind of get the grades that you want and whatnot. I mean, like obviously we've had like research project this year, and that really relies on a lot of teamwork, critical thinking, and problem solving. So,
Yeah.
you know, the skills are there, and you're working on them all the time, even if you maybe don't realize it. Um, so yeah, and I think just like I say, just building up that CV, like getting involved with opportunities to build on those skills. Like I said, I've taken up that committee member role, which is obviously broadening communication skills again, leadership skills, 'cause I've done a little bit of coaching as well. Um, So yeah, I think it's mostly that. I mean, they want to see someone that's going to work well in their organization and work well with the team and is willing to put in a good effort and probably be innovative as well. So yeah, I think so. I think that'd be
Thank
it.
you. And I know you've also sought out sort of making connections and building
Yeah.
networks in the areas. How do you think, how important has that been in terms of thinking about your future and understanding what might be the next steps?
Yeah, that's been really good. I had my third year placement last year, and that was kind of like at City of Glasgow College, kind of shadowing lecturers, that sort of thing. And it is really important to have those connections because I mean, like for example, my supervisor, he pretty much knows everyone in the sporting world, bless him. And he's just it's really good advice as well. You know, like we've built up a good kind of professional relationship. So if I need a hand with kind of like working through like employability sort of stuff, getting into lectures, you know, they're there and they can provide guidance and whatnot, or they can point you in the right direction to maybe get some more information. So yeah, I think you've got to put yourself out there a little bit and speak.
Yeah, yeah, start building those networks where they're
Mhm.
important.
Yeah,
Um, and you've alluded to the fact that you've utilised some of the career services. You know, what would be your advice to students that maybe are considering doing that?
definitely do it. Definitely do it because like even like if you know what you want to do, um, you know, you might just still like also like we've had conversations about kind of what I'd like to do. And I think it's just even good just to talk things out, even if you're just not sure, just to make sense. And if you're someone like me that finds everything in the sport kind of course very interesting and life's a little bit difficult, 'cause you're like, what am I going to do? But yeah, just kind of speaking of it's like things like maybe looking at masters, you know, like you guys have given me lots of advice about that. Like, you know, you've got the CV kind of service as well. We can go through the CV and kind of help it to make it employable. And I would encourage everyone to use it, to be honest, even if you're not thinking about it, because I think it'll just really help when you get out there, because it is different.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit more challenging, I think, than some people realize. So yeah, I would 100% use it. It's been great for me. So.
Great. And is there any final tips or thoughts you would want to kind of leave the students who are watching
Oh,
this?
oh God, I don't know if that's a good idea. Me leaving tips, send them down the wrong path. I don't know. Like I say, just stick in with your studies. Ask lots of questions. This is the time, and obviously, like I say, just use the employability center because it is really really useful. And even if you think you've all got it thought out, you know, it might get you thinking about other things that might be important in getting the role, or maybe identify, like you say, like a skills gap or whatnot. But just get stuck in, use the services whilst they're there because they're really, really important. And you just don't know where it's going to take you. So I would go for it.
Thanks, Kayleigh. I've really enjoyed getting your insights, and I'm sure the students will as well.
Fingers crossed.